seizure warning for seizure and epilepsy warning for this entire review. I'm going to do my best to not show as much of it as I need to, but it's going to have to happen to get my point across. So you've been warned. If that's a problem, thanks for checking it out. I'll see you tomorrow. Our next movie is, I've been calling it Lux Æterna. Don't know if it is Æterna or Æterna or Æterna. It's like an A and a E combined. I don't know if it's said a certain way there or not, but Lux Æterna is a short French film released in, I believe, 2019. And I have wanted to see this for a long time, and it just so happened to be on Tubi. I wasn't going to miss an opportunity to see it. So, Lux Æterna is directed by Gaspar Noé, who has directed one of my favorite movies of all time and also a bunch of other good shit. He did Enter the Void, which is really good, Irreversible, which is really good, except for 9 uninterrupted minutes of the worst imaginable. But the techniques used in filming that movie are like ethereal. Like there's some camera movements in that movie that like I can't even begin to wrap my head around how the hell some of that stuff was shot. And then my favorite movie that he has done is Climax. I adore Climax. It's a never-ending fucking nightmare, but that movie is probably perfect. I don't think there's anything that could really be improved. If you're gonna see me fucking with my pants a bunch, they would just want to fall. And while that won't be on camera, it's gonna bother me that they're like almost hanging off. So I might just be doing this the whole time, and I'm sorry. Lux Æterna, directed by Gaspar Noé. I would name who's in it. However, we have learned from my previous video that I should not say French names, so I'm not gonna. Lux Æterna is entirely in French. I can't imagine there's going to be a lot of clips of live Trent reacting, because there was not a whole lot of reacting. There was a whole lot of sitting there silently and reading and really focusing, because this movie has some of the most batshit insane techniques of how to move a moment in time along. I'm not even going to say a story, because there really isn't much of a story. This is more of an experience. You more or less just drop yourself into this moment, hopefully by your own choosing, and just live in it for a little bit. There's shots in it where just in the middle of like a scene, we'll get a split screen. And in that split screen, it can be one person, it could go from a simple 2-shot of 2 people talking to a split screen of now you're looking at that actor head on, you're looking at the other actor they're talking to head on, and they're talking. And that's fine, because it's usually like blah, 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 blah. They take turns back and forth talking. And that's fine, because what happens is the subtitles are under whoever is talking at that time. And that's fine. That's perfectly readable. You just got to kind of bounce your eyes around, and that's fine. Unless, of course, you speak French, in which case, more power to you. What makes this harder is later in the movie, when things are starting to build up, that split screen is used. However, it is not a 2-shot. It is a scene in a dressing room is happening, and then in the other shot, a scene in somewhere else is happening. 2 separate conversations, possibly 2 different languages, most of the time 2 different conversations happening in French, both subtitled, and you gotta bop around because they are talking at the same time and those subs are not on screen long, so you gotta catch up. Almost more jarring when the couple of characters that can and do speak English in this movie are in the split screen. So it'll be a split screen of 2 characters speaking English, and then over here is 2 characters speaking French, and you're reading the subtitles and hearing the English, and it just kind of makes my mind break a little bit. And I believe that was fully intentional. Gaspar Noé strikes me as somebody who hates his audience, and I kind of love him for that. I think he just fucking hates his audience, and I'm fine with that. That guy he can tell me to piss off, and I'll be like, sure, man, I will buy another copy of Climax. I'll give you, I guess, like a brief rundown of the events. I don't even want to say story, because there is not a story. What you literally are doing here is you are purposefully dropping yourself into 51 minutes of stress. The environment that you are in is a movie set. They are trying to film some sort of historical fiction movie about the witch burning. Got it. Simple. Done. We got movie sets. We got the movie set. We got the craft service area. We got the green rooms, and wherever else is around that people could end up being. Got it. Got our location. Understood. Where things start to get more intensive is as the movie's going, because it starts pretty typically Gaspar Noé. It starts with 20 minutes of talking. And I don't mean like It's just slow. I mean, it is like you're just, you can either view it as you're sitting in on a conversation that's already been happening, or you tuned in like halfway through a podcast, and that's, you're just there. And it's two people talking for like 20, probably 10 minutes. Honestly, I say 20, but it's probably 10, maybe 15 minutes, and they're just talking, and it's pretty whatever. One woman is a little bit older, she's an actress, I believe, and she's kind of expressing how her qualms and things she likes about the movie industry. If you work with a director that's good, you'll love the experience. If you work with a director that's terrible, you're gonna hate it. Most of the time, the producers are the problem, and it's not the director's fault that it turns out bad. It's the producers breathing down everyone's neck, yada yada. Like, just kind of general info. And then from there, it is then, I have a lot of the events written down. I would like to read them, and I would like to try to read them quickly, so that you can kind of get an understanding of event, all layered and stacked on top of each other, and you're just sitting there. This is purposefully stressful. So it is a little bit of summary before I read this off. The stuff is going bad on the set. People aren't getting along. There's miscommunication happening all over the place. Just horrible things. Not horrible, but like just annoying things, tedious things are just happening. Here's some of the things that are happening. One woman is trying to take control over the entire thing, undermining the director. The producers want to find a reason to fire her. One girl has to be topless during a scene, was never told this, so she wants somebody's head for this. One guy is desperately trying to talk to one girl about leaving this set to join him on a set in LA, on a movie he's trying to make. Our sort of main girl is trying to call her babysitter because she got a phone call from her 5-year-old daughter that some boys who are 6 to 8 years older than her carved a symbol, I think it was a cross, into her, and I will not be saying where because it's the worst place imaginable for it to be on a 5-year-old. So we have all of these things happening, and more. Those are just the things I could remember right after watching the movie. And it's just, it keeps just piling and piling and piling, and I don't hope for a resolution to anything. And that also is done by design and on purpose. Once they start filming, and we're filming 3 girls and strung up on crosses or getting ready to be burned at the stake. And they're filming that. There's a mob in front of them that's acting to be the angry mob, just extras, whatever. And we've got the director, and we've got this other woman just yelling at everyone, trying to take over like the whole production. Like, I feel like my eyes are still recovering from it. So during the scene, things aren't going right for one reason or another, and then they have like the perfect take of everything, and then the lighting system fails, and it just starts rapidly flashing green, red, and blue lighting constantly. To the right behind our actresses, so they are like completely black silhouetted with just the light blasting through them, and we get the split screen effect for all 3 girls, so we don't have to do a wide shot. We can get medium shots of each one split evenly down the middle, or evenly down the screen. The problem with that, they aren't timed the same. So, and what I mean by that is, say girl on the left, it's flashing green, red, blue, green, red, blue, green, red, blue. Girl in the middle, it might be flashing red, blue, green, when this one's flashing green, red, blue. And so now, and doubly so for the third girl, so now you're getting 3 times the different colors flashing and just going apeshit. For me, I'm just kind of staring, and I'm just like what's going on? What are we doing? And there was brief talk in the beginning that I don't remember, something about epileptic people. And I'm pretty sure that ties in. I'm sorry. That's something that went over my head in the beginning, just because I was like, whatever, that's just, these people are talking, and they're just talking about bullshit. No, I'm assuming that came back at the end with all the flashing and shit, and I went through a lot. And so that's happening. They get the girls off. People are screaming at the director to stop, to get everyone off of there, and the director's refusing. Everyone's against the director now, and they're screaming at him to get everyone off, because I think the one girl might be epileptic. I don't know. They're screaming at the director to get everyone off, and he's refusing because now he's getting like he's getting real emotion from the one of them because she's dying. And then it ends. It's over. Credits start rolling, and the screen is still flashing over the credits, and then that's it. It is over. I believe the point of that was, I'm thinking of like every single stressful moment in my life, which is every goddamn day, and how there's never really a resolution to those moments in real life, it is just, maybe it comes to an end, but there's never a moment when the stress is over where there's peace. It's always, at least for me, it's always something that I either am going to have to deal with later, or will always leave some sort of mental scar of like, holy can't believe I went through that, Jesus Christ. There's no like brevity to it. And I think that was the point, was to just get to like the peak of you're stressed and now you're in like physical pain watching this done. And then it just stops. It's 51 minutes long, like I said. It was always intended to be a short film. One funny, interesting fact is at Cannes Film Festival during the short film's debut, paramedics were stationed outside because they were worried people were legitimately going to have seizures during this movie. And it's fair. It is so much. But this is also from the guy who, during, I believe, Irreversible, when that was in theaters, he forcibly has a note playing throughout the entire movie, unbroken, and it's just a tone that plays throughout the whole thing, and that tone is psychologically proven to make people uncomfortable and feel nauseous. And he just decided, I'm going to do that, which is, again, when I think Gaspar Noé just hates his audience, and I'm totally fine with that. Like I said, this isn't really a movie. This is more so an experience. You watch maybe once, maybe twice, to just get a little bit more info out of it, and then that's it. For that reason, I like it well enough. I think it's fine. Not my favorite Gaspar Noé thing by far, but it's still pretty good for what it is, which is so weird to say that it's still pretty good. There's enough intrigue there and a fucking nightmare that, you know, emotionally resonated and physically resonated and affected me. So I'm leaving this one. Lux Æterna, I'm giving a 4 out of 5. I think it's perfectly... If some weird French art movie, if you're interested in the French extremist art scene, you'll probably end up seeing it out of sheer curiosity anyway. This is not really I recommend it. This is just kind of like I wanted to see this, so I'm seeing it. I also don't even know if this qualifies as horror. I think it does. I just went off of it solely because Gaspar Noé has made Irreversible, which is fucking horrific, and Into the Void, which is horrific, and Climax, which is horrific, but not in the same sense of like every other horror movie. It's like the events that happen in these movies are realistically horrific to any normal person, so there's no like supernatural element to it. It's just like, this is a horrible situation. So I just went purely off of that knowledge of Gaspar Noé, and I don't know if this is horror. It made me feel awful afterwards, but not because of content of the movie, just because it hurt. But yeah, that was Lux Æterna. Tune in tomorrow for you know what, back to business as usual. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Ah, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Imagine being in a dark fucking theater and this is blasting. No wonder they had paramedics outside. Holy shit. Wait, was that it? That was it? Alright. Huh.